Today we are going to talk, I've got some corrections for you from my video yesterday, but we are also going to talk about Norwegian, some changes on one of their cruises, actually really big changes. We're going to also talk about the Sun Princess. I'm going over some of those things in Park 19 and talking to you a little bit about it more, as well as the Sanctuary. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today is the 4th of July 2023. So a very happy 4th of July to everyone here joining us from the United States. I hope that you are having a splendid day and enjoying celebrating the birthday of our great nation. So let's go ahead and start out with my corrections from yesterday, and I do apologize. You know, every once in a while I have a hard time finding words, and yesterday I accidentally said Seabourn. It is Silver Seas Cruise Line that is owned by the Royal Caribbean Group. So that is my first correction. My next correction is regarding the original gratuities, what the gratuities used to be on Celebrity before they go up with just a big announcement. And they're going to go up next week on July 11th. So they used to be $17.50 for your interiors, your ocean views, and your verandas. And those are going to $18. And then if you are in the concierge class or the aqua class staterooms, those gratuities are going to go from $18 to $18.50. And then if you are in the retreat, those gratuities are going from $21 to $23. I apologize. Hopefully, everyone will catch this that caught my video yesterday. Now, the next thing that I think it's important to talk about is it's been in the news some about the changes that Norwegian announced to one of its cruises. It started actually Sunday, and today is Tuesday, but on Sunday the Norwegian Dawn set sail, and that cruise originally had one tender port. Norwegian since realized that their reservation system did not correctly reflect the other tender ports that would be on that cruise, and so instead of having one tender port on that cruise, there is going to be 5, so 4 more tender ports. And on the one hand, we might think, well, that's no big deal, and in a way, for some people it's not. The people that come to my mind a lot when you think of having way more tender ports than you expected are the people that have mobility troubles, that it's hard for them to get on and off the tender. Now, when you get on a tender, it's harder for people, you know, that have crutches or a cane or a walker, things like that. Sometimes if people have a scooter or like with a wheelchair, then they're not able to go on the tender. It just depends. I don't want to make a blanket statement for that, but it's most challenging for people in those situations. And so I am really hopeful that everyone on that cruise is able to go into the ports that they had hoped and take care of that. Like I said, Norwegian, I looked at their press release and they said that it was their reservation system that it's not a surprise that those are tender ports. It's just that their reservation system did not reflect them correctly on the reservations. And so I'm looking forward, if any of you happen to be on the Norwegian Dawn, let us know how everything is going. And I really do hope that you have a splendid cruise. Now, let's talk about the Sun Princess for a minute. This new thing on deck 19 is really interesting to me. And, well, it's decks 19, 20, and 21. Actually, Park 19 is what they are calling it. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Sanctuary. So first of all, as we first looked at that, I've gone back through the press release about it, and 2 things. First of all, that Sea Breeze, which I called a zip line, simply like it's a point of reference to like think of how it works. It's like a motorized zip line is how I think of it in my mind when I saw the computer generated video that they show how it's supposed to be working. It's motorized and it'll move along, and they say it's going to even be something that handicap accessible people that need that kind of a thing, they're going to be able to do it. So that makes me really glad about that. But as I've gone through the different things, I mentioned a rock climbing wall because I have seen it called that in some of the reports, and one of our Let's Go family members graciously sent me an email and said it's not a rock climbing wall. So I wanted to go through everything that I could find about it and tell you about it. And here's why I want to go through it again, because it's really interesting. And I would really like to hear what you all think, because it takes all of us, I think, to bring all the reports together and see what you hear from different people. But one of our Let's Go family members is in on the Sapphire Princess right now, heading north in Alaska. And so they were over at the Future Cruise office, and I'm going to share some information about those cruises that are on sale half off when you are on a ship. I'll do that tomorrow. But she was talking to them about what they are looking at with these new, the new family activities that they are bringing with Park 19 on board. And she said that Princess has always been that the passengers on Princess have always been an older crowd, but as far as the future strategy for Princess and with their bigger ships, they need to be more like Royal Caribbean with lots of physical activities and lots of entertainment for families. And so I thought that was really interesting coming from someone working there on the Princess ships, just kind of giving us a window into what their vision was. And truly, when we saw the announcement with the Park 19 and everything, that's where it seems they're heading, doesn't it? And so with that, I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about these things, and I would love to hear in the comments what you all think about this. Now, I do want to point out, as we have talked about before, that it is up there on decks 19, 20, and 21. I've looked at the deck plan. To me, it looks like it's not quite aft. I can't tell that it's completely midship either. I think it's maybe mid-aft, somewhere between mid and mid-aft on those top three decks there. So like on deck 19, you've got that dome that they talk about. That's the new thing, that thing that they say was inspired by Santorini. That part of the ship there, so the dome is up there on 19, but other than that, it looks like that the that's all that's up there is Park 19 on the rest of deck 19, and then 20 and 21. And then the sanctuary, is a point of reference, like we will talk about in a minute, is on deck 18. Okay, and so you've got that sea breeze, what I was just talking to you about, that's up there. It says, using an overhead track, guests are seated and harnessed to this electric ride, which reaches up to 11 miles an hour during a 60 to 90 second experience. And it is also ADA accessible, like I said. They've got the coastal climb. It says passengers can ascend from deck 19 to 20 using a climbing structure that features a series of obstacles. And that's what I was calling a rock climbing wall. And I've seen it called that in several other reports. So maybe it's not a rock climbing wall, but it's a climbing something to ascend from decks 19 to 20. Once at the top, the guests can take in the beautiful views before sliding back down to the bottom. They've got the lookout, which is designed as an open-air observation deck. It's located at the top of the coastal climb. So I think it sounds like you have to do the coastal climb to get up there, and then that lookout area is where you see those beautiful views. They've got the net, which is an all-new trekking experience, they call it, located above 19. The attraction comprises unstable bridges, a Z-shaped balance beam, and the climb cargo net. So it sounds like that's a whole new thing that they're doing there. An infinite horizon. It is it says the space includes those lean tilt walls like the clear windows, but instead of being straight or coming in, they lean outwards so that passengers can lean out and look down to the deck below. Then they've got a hammock area, which will be equipped with a whole bunch of hammocks, it sounds like, to allow guests to take a break and just enjoy the hammocks. They've got that splash zone that we talked about also. It's Princess's very first water park. The space will feature, it's got a splash area with those pop jets that come up, in addition to a water sculpture that, according to Princess, comprises a refreshing and relaxing area to chill. So it sounds like a place that families would maybe like to go do that. Children, I know in the town that we live in, they call it the splash pad, I think is what it's called, but they've got those pop jets, and it's always very popular in the summer. So it sounds like truly anybody any age can go there. Then they've also got the recreational court. I think the recreational court, from what I can tell, is what we are used to seeing on Princess with like their sport court or whatever you want to call that. You can play different games there. You can do your exponential fitness class there. Sometimes they've got it set up, I've noticed, if this is the same thing, like with a net that you can play tennis. I've seen it set up with to play pickleball before. I've seen it set up like kids kicking soccer balls back and forth. Just lots of different things. There's like a ping pong table area there. And then they've got that jogging track, and Princess has always had like a jogging track. I don't know if it'll just be the same, but it sounds like that you could always just, walk or jog around. And usually they've got it I feel like, if I remember correctly, that you could walk, and then an area like the lane for people that want to go faster if they're jogging and you're wanting to walk. So let me know what you think about all of that. And those of you that have been on all the Royal Caribbean ships, let us know how that compares. And I would love to know how it compares with what Royal Caribbean used to be in the early days when they first started adding all of that. I went back and thought about the time that we were on Explorer of the Seas last November, because that is one of their older ships. It's not old by any, like not really old, but it is not their new Oasis class ships. And so I thought back of it. They've got like the Flow Rider, they've got miniature golf, they've got a big basketball area there for people to play, and a water slide. The water slide just barely got added. It wasn't there when we were there, but I've seen the photos and the water slide is there. So I'm wondering if this is kind of that same size on Princess as that whole area is on Explorer of the Seas, and maybe this will be Princess's jumping off point to move up to more activities later. Maybe they'll just see how all of this goes, but it'll be really interesting to see. So when I thought about this, two things about the sanctuary. First of all, a Let's Go family member who has been in Alaska this week was so kind to post on our Facebook group and said that viewing Glacier Bay in the sanctuary is spectacular. So let me tell you what he said. No fighting for a good photo spot, no shushing others so that you can actually hear the park rangers, you can hear the glaciers calve, and the staff is absolutely wonderful. The crew members, they bring you food and drinks to your heart's content. And so this is a wonderful place. I've had people ask me before if going to the sanctuary on Glacier Bay is a good idea, and it sounds like it's a wonderful idea. So we are going to try out the sanctuary on the Island Princess, and that's more of a cold weather cruise. And so we'll let you know what that's like, so hopefully we can get a time. But be aware that apparently you can book, if they've got a VIP lounge, it sounds like you can book the sanctuary there for in the VIP area, or once you get on board the ship, go directly there and try to get yourself a space in the sanctuary. You cannot book the sanctuary before you get on the cruise, and you cannot book the sanctuary in the app. It's not available there. And so I have a video all about the sanctuary if you would like to watch that. If you're not familiar with it, hopefully you will find that really helpful. But so that's one thing. And then along with that, so the sanctuary on the Sun Princess and the Star Princess is aft on deck 18. So it looks like the retreat pool is right close there like we are used to. So if you're in the sanctuary and you want to go swimming, it is really close that you can just go out, go swimming in the retreat pool, and then come back and enjoy yourself on your lounger there in the sanctuary. With our cold weather cruise, I don't know that we'll go swimming, but I'm really looking forward to enjoying it. So it is a really nice place to relax. It's absolutely beautiful. And so if you have never tried the sanctuary, I would say it's definitely worth a try. We had been on several cruises before we tried it, and now I wish I would have tried it sooner. So I hope that you find some of this information helpful. If you have anything to add, I would love to hear from you in the comments or send me an email. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Would love to have you with us. And if you enjoy these updates, please give this video a thumbs up, because that helps us out as well. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.